Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the brand new AirPods Pro 2nd generation ear tips. We'll then compare them to the original ear tips that came with the 1st generation AirPods Pro, and then we'll take a look at all of these third-party ear tip options and see if they still work with the brand new AirPods Pro. You can tell these are the new ones because they have a speaker in the case as well as space for a lanyard strap. And inside we have the new AirPods, which look pretty much the same as the previous generation. Inside the box we have a USB-C to Lightning cable and a new assortment of ear tips. This time around we have an extra small size as well as the small and large, as the medium size come pre-installed. The previous generation did not have the extra small size. So now let's take a look at the mechanism that clips the ear tips onto the AirPods. They look about the same, and when I measured using a caliper, I got pretty much the same results. So this is a good sign. It means that all the ear tips should be cross-compatible, right? Well, not so fast. Comparing the screens inside the ear tips shows the 1st generation uses a more fine of mesh, whereas the 2nd generation mesh screen is much further apart. Perhaps this is to allow for the wider frequencies of sound that Apple claims the new generation is capable of. Taking a look at the outside flexible silicone part, we can see they are both the same size and shape, although the 2nd generation does feel slightly grippier compared to the more smoother on the 1st generation. Comparing the small to the extra small size, we can see that the new extra small size is definitely smaller. So if you felt that all the ear tips in the past were too big, then perhaps the extra small size is all you need to get a good fit. So for the first test, do the new silicone ear tips that come with the 2nd generation work on the 1st generation? And the answer is yes, no issues with this. So now let's compare the third-party ear tips. First up is my personal favorite, and those are the Comply memory foam ear tips. Now I'm not going to bother testing the first version Comply made because they had all kinds of issues attaching to the AirPods and were replaced with the 2nd generation, and those are the two that I have here on the right. And yep, they click into place, they feel pretty sturdy, they fit in the case, and they come off just fine. Next up is the Foammasters 4.0 Black Magic ear tips, and these click into place just fine and fit in the case, but upon removing them I did have an issue where the foam started ripping, but I did get them to come off. I then stupidly put them back on to test again, and no matter how hard I tried, I could not get them off without ripping the foam off entirely. I then couldn't get the plastic mount detached and ended up having to use tweezers to recover it. I'm not sure if this is a fault of my particular set of ear tips from Foammasters or if they're all this way, but I'm afraid to try any others, so I'm hesitant to recommend using the 4.0 Black Magic ear tips with the new AirPods Pro. Testing Foammasters' previous 3.0 generation went fine, and I had no issues with them. Next up is this collection of ear tips from Spinfit, and if you remember, these are not memory foam but rather silicone similar to the Apple ones. I'm only going to test the CP1025, which are made for the AirPods Pro, and one thing I didn't like about theirs is that you had to manually install the ear tip onto the plastic part which clicks into place, which is a little tedious, but once I got it, it clicked into place, it fit in the case, and it removed without issue. So how about the DIY solution? Well, of course these should work because this just uses the Apple silicone tip with memory foam stuffed in the middle. And as I expected, it does click into place. However, these ones did have issues fitting into the case. The trick here is to compress the tips while putting them into the case, and although the lid does not shut 100%, it's enough that they're not going to come open or fly out. So although it's not the best option, they do work for the least amount of money. Next up is a good solution if you like the hybrid silicone and memory foam, and that is the CharJen Pro AirFoams Pro Active. These snapped into place, fit in the case, and removed all without issue, until I went back and tested them a second time. So I went back and did the Apple ear tip fit test and played some music for a while on each of these, and when I did that on this pair, these two ended up breaking off just like the Foammasters 4.0 ear tips. And to get the plastic piece off, I ended up having to rip the mesh screen off so I could get the tweezers inside to pull it off. So here is another one I'm hesitant to recommend for the new AirPods Pro, even though they work great with the previous model. I then tested CharJen Pro's AirFoams Form Fit and the original AirFoams, and they both worked without issue. So lastly, like I mentioned, I did go back and test each set of ear tips again, and did the Apple Fit test for the ear tips, and briefly listened to some music to see if any of these ear tips changed the sound in any kind of way. And the good news is that they all passed the ear tip fit test, and none of them changed the sound in any way that I could tell at least. So to wrap up, let's check out the final results. As you can see, the old ear tips generally had no issue on the new AirPods Pro. However, two sets did rip apart, I'm not sure if this is due to a stronger mechanism on the AirPods Pro, or maybe the glue between the plastic and the foam just wears out after a while, which could be the case considering I've been storing all these ear tips for the past year or two, and perhaps brand new ones wouldn't have this problem at all. I'm not really sure. So the best I can say is your mileage may vary on those ones. Aside from that, they all fit the new AirPods Pro, and they seem to perform exactly the same as the first time I reviewed them with the original AirPods Pro. So if you're looking to pick up one of these sets of ear tips, I'll put affiliated links down in the video description. Your price stays the same, but a small commission may come back to help support all the time and effort I put into these videos. If you need help choosing which ear tips might be the best for you, I'll put a link to my previous video where I did an in-depth review of each one and made recommendations based on different categories such as best value, best for fitness, things like that. So that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and if you wish to support me directly, you can hit the thanks button. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments, and with that, I thank you for watching and have a great day.